My earliest memory of seeing it properly was we were in India on a holiday, family holiday, and we were sitting at a restaurant as my family and the family we'd gone to visit, and a magician comes over and performs, does his act at the table, and at the time I didn't realise, but 11 years later that's what I'd go on to do. And then he did something that I had obviously never seen before, but I never did, and I've never seen since, which was he's finished his show, like his bit, and then he offered to teach the kids at the table, take them away and teach them a couple of tricks, and I was one of the kids. So I remember that day I learned 3 tricks. One was the Indian rope trick, where the rope is loose and then it, on your command, it stand up. There's a card trick where you deal them into piles, and there's a wonderful trick where you take a pencil and you put it in a plastic box and it's in 3 sections. You pull it out and unbelievably it's split into 3 bits, and you put it back together and pull it out. So in one piece, that was my earliest memory. Firstly, I think what I love the most is that when you watch it done live, there is no substitute for it. So you watch it on TV, great, and I love magic on television, and it's the best medium for people to see what you do. But when people watch magic on television, most of the time, if they don't understand or they don't know how it works, they will say, actors, stooges, camera tricks, edits. Now, 99% of the time it isn't, and it's when you do something live for someone right in front, there's nothing to hide. You're just there, and it's just you and skills that you've learned, and you're trying to entertain people. And it's like singers sing, and if they're good at singing, you can hear how good they are. Painters paint. If you watch a painter painting from scratch, you know how good they are. And what I love about magic is that if you are any good, when you show somebody something, they will never see what you've actually done. They will see what you've wanted them to see, and there's an irony in the fact that no one will ever see the work that you put in, and that sort of tickles me. When you show someone something, a trick that fools them, you take over their brain for like a minute or whatever it is, gives people something to talk about, and I think it's quite cool. Britain's Got Talent is one of the biggest shows in the world. And if you perform for a living, if you get on that show and you hit it, there is no greater boost to your profile. I did the audition, the semi-final and the final, which is a total of about 15 minutes on TV. And you cannot do less time and have your profile boosted any greater than that, I promise. That's like half of one TV special, do you know what I mean? But so many people watch it at the time. So when the show started, I, and along with a load of other magicians, realised that it's an incredible opportunity if you get it right. Problem is that early on, and well, up until quite recently, rightly or wrongly, I didn't think they treated magic fairly. So if you can sing, you come out and you sing 3 notes, they know you can sing. If you can dance, you come out, you do your routine in 5 seconds, they know you can dance. For magic to be impressive, you need to establish credibility. You need to set something up that seems to be fair, and then you pull the rug afterwards. And sometimes that takes a bit of time. And on a show like that, you walk out, you've got 3 minutes, and even if it takes 30 seconds to talk about something, they might buzz you, and then you're done, and you look like a fool. There's nothing set up, despite what people think. There's nothing fixed. There's nothing happened. They ask you if you're interested, and I'd been asked a number of years previously, and I'd always said no because I didn't think. In my head, I didn't think I had a fair crack. I didn't think magicians did. And then an American magician won America's Got Talent. The same year I did it, called Matt Franco. And then I thought, well, maybe it's going to change now, because when I was season 9, and by season 9, the only acts that had won it were singers, dancers, a dog called Ashley and Putty, who I met recently, who's lovely. There's a shadow act, which I still sort of dance, but that sort of thing. And no magician ever won it. So I thought, I'll maybe give it a go. So I decided to. Here we are. I think people get nerves and excitement confused. You have that same feeling of like butterflies in your stomach, but I think you're nervous for something if you don't know what you're doing. I think you're excited for something if you know exactly what you're doing and you want it to be the best that you can. They feel the same. It's that whole adrenaline rushing thing, like when you're on a roller coaster. So I've got that feeling of like, I'll say nerves. It was a bit of nerves, obviously, but it was also like excitement, because I'm thinking, do you know what, 5 minutes, everything could change. Walk out, I'm terrified and walk out. But I was always told, walk slowly, hold your shoulders back, deep, breathe deeply. No one can see your insides. They don't know what you're feeling. Just talk slowly. And so I've done my little thing, and I'm looking at the screen. I'm just looking over so I've done it like that. I'm looking over my shoulder at the screen. It was like the car was 7.5, and then the audience went mental, like mental. And I turned back around, and David Williams stood up, and I was like, oh wow, amazing. So I turned, and just instinctively I was like, oh thanks mate, and I shook his hand. And then Alicia was next, and she stood up as well. And then Amanda, I was looking at, and then I was thinking, please stand up, please be standing up, because sometimes 3 in 1. And I said, and then he stood up, and I was like, oh. So I shook his hand, and he said something to me. I've got no idea what it was. It was so loud, couldn't hear it. The best I hoped for would be they'd say, oh, we quite liked you, we liked what you did, we'd like to see some more. And then they were just, they said so many lovely things, and obviously it shows edited, they cut down a load of them. But I remember David Williams saying it was the best magic trick he'd ever seen, and then Amanda said loads of lovely stuff, and then Simon Cowell said, I'll never forget, he goes, I know this sounds crazy, he says, but like some people believe in ghosts, said I now actually believe in magic. And I remember standing there, and the feeling of like pressure, like lifting, and like elation, and going from that point of just dread before, because I had a lot riding on it. This is my job, man. I've spent 10 years doing this, and I had a lot of work lined up. And if I'd have bombed, if they'd have showed it, that's not good. And they said that, and then I thought, oh, wow, that's amazing. And then I thought, well, hopefully, you don't know if you're through or not. But I thought, hopefully they'll show the audition, and then basically it's raised my profile, and that's why I did it, because I'd been working for 10 years doing, I love it, man, doing, close-up gigs or stages, but it was always for, it might be a corporate thing. And don't get me wrong, I love doing them, but I always wanted to do theatres. I got into it because I like performing. So if you want to do theatre shows, people need to know who you are. Inspiration comes from lots of different places. Sometimes it could be a piece of music. You hear a piece of music and you think, that's cool, I'd like to do something with that. Sometimes it might be a joke. Sometimes it might be something happens in the world. So it might be a news story or something. I was asked to do the Gadget Show live earlier this year, and they wanted tricks with technology, which I'd never really thought about before. And they said to me, can you do things? So I'm like, okay, great. So we have a think about it. And then in the tour I'm doing in June, there's a whole section now based on technology, and that wouldn't have happened if they hadn't have asked me to do that thing. Sometimes you might get asked to do a trick for work for a company, and they've got a certain line of products, and they want a trick with, I don't know, they make clips. Okay, right, never done a trick with a clip before. What could I do? And then you think you change it. Sometimes I'll be at a show and something won't work, and I'll have to change it on the spur of the moment, and then that might spark something else. And sometimes you'll be doing a show, and afterwards someone will come up to you and go, could you ... and they just say something that you've never thought of, and you're like, well, that's so much better than what I've been doing for so long. Yeah. The highlight of recently was I did an event for Virgin Atlantic. That was the inaugural flight to Detroit, and got to do some tricks with Richard Branson. And he said, I did a couple. I did one with him on the stage, which was amazing. But on the plane on the way over, he's a big Magic fan. They said, he's sitting at the bar, could you go and do something for him? So I was doing this trick, and then we finished, and he went, throw him off the plane, and that was amazing. And then I got this photo with him afterwards. He was so lovely. And then, yeah, I was just an event I did for you guys the other week. Got to meet David, just mooching around, having a chat with some kids, doing a couple of tricks. And then their dad comes up, it's David Cameron. I was like, oh, you all right, mate? How's it going? I'd say probably the internet, and I'd say obviously magic on television. So when I was growing up, it was Paul Daniels was the only magician on TV, and then years later in this country, you got introduced to a man called David Blaine, who sort of made what we call close-up. They call it street magic. It's like doing magic with everyday things. After him, we get Darren Brown, who's my favourite. I think he's the best magical performer this country's ever produced. And he was more of a mind reader. Oh, he is a mind reader, so it's less the sleight of hand. It's the same theories at work, but not sleight of hand. It's just so clever. And obviously more recently you've had Dynamo over Troy. Ben Hallins had his show, you had Dynamo. And I think with the internet now as well, like with Facebook, and so like views, for example, like YouTube views. So my audition had, I took the date, something like 18 million views on YouTube, right? And YouTube used to be where you got most of your views. It's not now, it's Facebook. So I've had 250 million on Facebook because there's a share button. So people see things and they share it. And you'll see a clip of a guy doing an audition on Uzbekistan's Got Talent, right? How would you ever have seen that before? Well, someone's seen it, who's liked it, who's shared it, and you know, there's a saying that you're only like 5 people removed from everyone else now. I promise you, you could befriend a random stranger on the other side of the world, and you've probably got 3 friends in common. Do you know what I mean? So I think YouTube, it definitely helps, and now obviously Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Vine, like social media, information travels quickly. And yeah, obviously shows like Britain's Got Talent or any show that highlights magic will make it more popular if it's done well. With magic, whether it be close up or on a stage, you're going to show somebody something at the beginning, and they're not going to know what's about to happen. You have surprise is amazing. That's the saying, you know, why don't show a magic trick twice. It's not because you don't want anyone to see it twice. It's because when they know what's going to happen, that element of surprise is gone. So you do show them twice, but you change the ending so that people think they're going, because a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. But with your, like the act I do on stage, I get people up as well, so you involve people. Everyone feels like they're involved. So obviously, if there's a band, people are dancing, they are involved, but you can get people up, like the boss of the company. So he comes up and he helps you with a thing, and then so-and-so's birthday, whatever, they come on, they help you. But I like I mentioned earlier on, I think magic is one of these things that when you see it live, there's nothing, you can't compare it to magic on television. If you go to watch a magician perform, there is nowhere to hide. You're just there watching someone, and yeah, I think I'm incredibly biased, but I think it's the best.